I went to Toronto Comicon at, I believe, the end of March. And it just so happened that one Mr. John Delancey was a guest there. So I decided I totally wanted something of his, something with Discord on it, signed by him. So I went searching through my image folders and I found a fantastic piece of art by an artist by the name of Io Pichio, and I thought, this is fantastic. It's got Discord and Celestia face to face. Celestia's looking all pissed, you know. And I'm like, yeah, this is the perfect picture. I'm totally gonna get this signed. So I take it and I have it printed off on a nice piece of glossy paper. It looks great, and I go to the convention. Well, I get to the convention and I'm standing in line. There's like two people in front of me, waiting to talk to John Delancey. And as I'm getting closer, I'm looking at the picture, and I happen to spy something in the picture that looks a little suggestive. But I think to myself, no, don't worry about it. John Delancey is a professional. This man's not going to say anything. So I get up there, and I hand him the picture. And, well, I introduce myself. I've been watching Star Trek since I was a kid, loved you as Q, but as of late, I've been watching something else you've, been in, and I handed him the picture. He's all, oh, look at that, just a second. And he waves the girl that was in line ahead of me back. She comes up and he says, "Do you remember I told you that I was doing voices in cartoons?" She says, "Yeah." He says, "Well, this is the character I was playing." And he holds the picture up and he points to Discord and he says, "This is Gluey. I mean Discord." And she kind of nods her head and she says, "It looks kind of like you." And he turns around and he says, "What part of this looks like me?" And she looks all nervous right at me and she's like, "What do I say?" And I just kind of stroke my beard and she's like, yeah, facial hair, that's it. And he looks at it, he's like, no. He was like full scruff. So, yeah, facial hair. He's like, no. What part of me did they? No. So, she walks away, and he's like, he puts the picture down on the table, and he grabs his pen, and he's like, "So you want me to sign this?" And I said, "Yes." And he's like, "Okay." And he puts the pen, he's just about to touch the paper, and he lifts it away from the paper, and puts it down, and picks it up, and says, "What is that?" And hand to forehead, I'm just like, oh my god. And he's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's not what you think it is." And he's like, "Well, it kind of looks like..." And I'm like, "I know what it looks like. It's his tail wrapping around behind Celestia and coming up in front." And he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes, really." He's like, "I don't know. I wonder if anybody else sees this." So he turns to his left, where one Miss Nicole DeBoers is sitting. Nicole DeBoers being the actress that played Ezri Dax in Deep Space Nine. And he says, "Nikki, come here." She stands up, walks towards his table. He's like, "Look at this." And she looks at it, and it doesn't even take her a split second. She's like, "Oh my god, what is that?" And I am just beat red at this point, and John is chuckling. And he's like, "Yeah." And he says, "We were discussing earlier about how apparently they modeled Discord after me, but I think this is the only part they got right." And Nicole kind of gives him a, "Yeah, shut up" kind of look. And she walks back to her table, and he's like, "I think that's what this is." I'm like, "That's not what it is." And he's like, "Let's check again." And he starts flagging down con staff. And he's like, look at this. This is the only part of Discord they modeled after me." And the con staff are just like, half of them are laughing and the other half are like mouth wide open like, "Oh my god, what is he signing?" And I am beat red. I am just like, Jesus H fuck, you goddamn troll. And he finally stops showing it to everyone that will stop for 10 seconds and puts it down on the table and chuckling all the while, grabs his pen. He's like, where would you like me to sign? And I'm like, wherever the fuck you want to. And he's like, okay. So he signs right on the top of the big blue penis, which I'm now thinking a picture of in Skype. Was it... Yeah. So there you are, sir. You have now heard the story of getting John Delancey to sign a big blue penis. John Delancey is the biggest troll I've ever met.
I gotta wonder, what is that in the picture, though?
If you look behind Celestia, you see his tail behind her?
No, his tail is the red thing with a little white tuft on the end.
Well, look behind Celestia.
Okay.
Hey, do you see between the edge of the photo and her hair?
Yeah.
There's a section that's colored exactly the same way.
Yeah.
It's either his tail or that's his part of his arm coming around the front, because you can see his hand coming off the end of that.
But neither of his arms are blue.
I know they aren't. It can't. The thing is, though, is that what the hell else is it? Because
I don't think any of him is blue.
the artist censors anything suggestive. Okay, like, and rather obviously too, like big black bars and stupid red text in it. Like, I grabbed this off her DeviantArt. It's not a dick.
It's not. It's
His
not.
hand-
I can. Listen, I can see.
Yes, you
Why?
can see. You can see where he might think it's a fucking dick.
But the question I can't figure out, like, what is it, though? I know what it's not, because it isn't one. It looks like it could be one.
It's his wing.
What?
It's supposed to be one of his wings.
You think so?
His, like, bat wing?
No, his left wing is blue.
I'll find other Discord pictures.